Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy. We are back with a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 128. And I have virtue being joined this week by this elite panel, myself, Aaron Rift, Big G, and Robbie Weiss. What's up, man? Robbie, what's up? You were off the last week, weren't you? Jeff was here. So I'll start with you.
I don't remember. I don't know.
What's up?
I think I might have been. Yeah, no, nothing. I sat through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. I watched AEW and NXT. It was a bit of a chore this week, but I'm sure there's going to be some fun discussions that come from it. I know we have to talk about the NXT takeover that was horribly not named St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So, yeah, I mean, let's just jump right in, I guess. I'm ready to go.
Thank you, Robbie, for being here. How about you, Big G? What's up?
I'm doing good. Football is officially over. I had a good weekend, good week of wrestling for what it was, and I'm ready to get this ball rolling.
All right, and over to you, Aaron Rift.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to talk about some of the topics this week. Although it wasn't the most newsworthy week, we still have some interesting debates, I'm sure, as we tend to have on the NoDQ Review. Everybody has their own opinion, and even if something isn't that good, all the more reason to discuss it and dissect it. Now, Josh Mansfield sent in a $2 super chat, says, "Little thank you to Aaron for giving me a shot." That's in reference to his column that he wrote in response to Mr. Tito. You guys should check out those columns if you haven't gotten the chance. Mr. Tito's column in particular got quite a bit of feedback, and not the most positive feedback, but hey, got people talking, right?
People hate the truth. Dude, I noticed the less I write, I got to catch back up on writing. Like, I don't get retweeted or anything with my normal tweets, so I guess I got to start writing columns again. Jeez, I don't know what's up with the guy that runs NoDQ, Aaron, but you got to have a talk to him. I'm talking about their Twitter account. All right, let's get started. Aaron, I'm going to pass this over to you because I want to get this out of the way. This is the NXT Vengeance Day preview and predictions. Can't believe we're doing this on the review, but with all due respect to NXT fans, take it away, Aaron.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go through this quickly. We're not doing a predictions video here, like a full-length one. So we'll just do our quick picks for each match. I'll start and then get the other opinions in the chat. And anybody in the chat room, if you want to leave your comments, I'll put some of them up on the screen. Now, we have a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Io Shirai defending her championship against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. I was thinking of all these matches, this one was the hardest one for me to predict. However, I think back to the War Games pay-per-view when you had Raquel Gonzalez beat Io Shirai. So for me, it would make no sense for Shirai to lose the title now when clearly WWE is setting up Raquel Gonzalez as her challenger. Therefore, even though you could have Io lose the title without taking the fall, I am going to pick Io Shirai to retain. And quick plug for Colin Andrew. He posted his own predictions video. Check that out on his channel if you're interested. We have the two Dusty Classic final matches. We have the women's match, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Like I just mentioned, I think Raquel Gonzalez will be going for the women's championship, and that's what she's ultimately being built towards. So I think Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart will win the women's Dusty Classic, and they will go on to challenge Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at some point. And we have the other Dusty Classic match, MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. I'm just going by heel versus face logic here since the heels are champions right now, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. I'm going with MSK to win this one. And then we have the North American Championship, Johnny Gargano versus Kushida. I think this will be the one match where a heel does win, so I'm going with Johnny Gargano to pick up the victory and retain his North American Championship. And then we have our main event, Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. I do not see Finn Balor dropping the title until he faces Karrion Kross. Thus, Finn Balor retains. Show should be solid. You know, all these matches I think will be really good. Big G, I'll throw it over to you. Your predictions.
Pretty much everybody except I'm picking Tony Storm to win the women's title.
All right, there you go. Tony
Dude,
Storm.
Big G, we're going to – all right, so before Robbie goes, like, I'm trying to keep up with Aaron on even what these matches are. So here's what we're going to do. Tell me the matches, Big G, and I'm going to tell you who I will pick to win. So
All right.
the women's title match.
All right. Io Shirai, Mercedes Martinez, and Tony Storm.
And you said you picked Tony Storm to win it?
Yeah.
I'll go with Aaron. Aaron, you said Io Shirai retains. I think that's going to be the case. This is going to be simple.
MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Grizzled Young Veterans.
Okay. Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart.
Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart.
All right. Gargano versus Kushida.
Gargano retains because he's the North American champion.
Correct. And then Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor.
Pete Dunne will not become the champion. Finn Balor will retain. So there you have it. God, that was painful. But, you know, and that's maybe this will be one of those that when I watch it, I'll be surprised because I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not excited about it. Sometimes that surprises you. Robbie.
I have Io Shirai to retain because I think her and Tony Storm will probably have like a WrestleMania weekend big match. Ember Moon and Shotzi, I picked them to win. MSK because they're the shiny new toy of Triple H. Gargano, even though he's a bastard and blocked me on Twitter, even though I've had 0 interactions, never mentioned him or done anything with him. I have no idea why he blocked me. Whatever. He's probably going to win. And Balor is going to win because until What's-His-Face can win a match against the can of spray tan, I just don't see him as a threat to Finn Balor. So,
all right, then. Very good. So that's our thoughts on NXT TakeOver this Sunday. NoDQ.com will have you covered with results coverage.
And what's a Vengeance Day? What's a Vengeance Day? Like, what?
Well, I think they try to take vengeance in like Valentine's Day or whatever. I don't know.
Why?
Whatever. Just call it vengeance.
The people that are scorned on Valentine's Day. Oh, I don't know.
All right. Let's move on. Now, since we were talking about NXT, this isn't I just want to go around real quick. We know the Miz is the Money in the Bank holder, and we know that it doesn't make sense. If he cashes it in, he's going to lose it. How could he possibly win the Universal title with Roman in the picture, even with Drew McIntyre as the WWE champ? Does anybody think that there could be a small chance that they use it to shock the world and Miz cashes in on the NXT champion at some point? Are they even able to do that? Like, what does everybody think just in like 20 seconds? Aaron, think that's a possibility?
No, I think he'll try to cash it in on the Raw champion at some pay-per-view, maybe Fastlane, maybe WrestleMania, and he'll fail, and that'll be it. I think they'll use Miz when it benefits them, when they're backed into a booking corner for either the Raw or SmackDown title. Bam, you bring in the Miz, and they can have their easy way out where the Miz loses a second time, and that's that.
Big G?
It would be nice. It would be something different if he did, but I don't see it happening. I think he would cash it in possibly the night after WrestleMania. That's usually when they do everything big and try to.
I thought it expires at WrestleMania.
Huh?
No, it's Money in the Bank.
Oh, okay.
Money in the Bank, yeah.
Did it used to expire at WrestleMania?
No, it's
when it was at WrestleMania.
Okay.
When it was, yeah.
But
I mean, he'll cash it in the night after WrestleMania, most likely.
Okay. And Robbie, because you thought it was a good point, just because no one would expect it, and that would piss people off. And it doesn't have to be a long NXT title reign. But remember, he was Daniel Bryan's trainer back in the old NXT. I just thought that would be something that nobody would expect.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but I kind of agree with what Aaron said in the sense that the Miz is likely going to be used to eat a pinfall for a world title match when they want to keep both guys looking strong. So while the NXT thing is intriguing, I don't see it happening. Like I said, I think he's going to be used to be the eater of pinfalls instead of Bray Wyatt. So, I
mean, they did take it off of Otis to put it on the Miz, and they actually did a false with the Miz because Morrison cashed it in for him. So I can't believe this is where Money in the Bank has led. Not even exciting anymore. All right, we'll move on. Boy, Aaron, Nia Jax. This obviously was planned because, with the pandemic, you can wrestle and verbally talk. We hear Roman do it all the time, and the cameras are going to more likely pick it up than when crowd and fans are in there reacting. So this was clearly an attempt to go viral, whether she was told to do it or she did it on her own. She took the bump with the missed leg drop on the apron, right? And then she sold the tailbone injury, but as her hole, my hole, and it went viral. It's all over the place. And as much as people want to hate on Nia Jax, I mean, isn't that the business of wrestling, is to get any kind of attention at all? So what's everybody's thoughts on that? Because to be honest with you, Nia Jax is getting attention for something she did, not somebody she hurt. Kayfabe hurt herself. Aaron, what do you think, man? It's big buzz on the internet.
I think it's a sad state of WWE when that is the highlight of Raw, and that's what everybody is talking about. But we'll discuss more on the other segments from Raw. Nia Jax, she gets it, and she was totally playing up on it with the social media responses, retweeting people, and I thought it was entertaining, and I gained some respect for her for doing this because she made everybody laugh. She entertained people, and that's the name of the game, is to entertain people. So good for her, and glad she got this viral moment. And I like her calling out Lana, saying Lana needs to train more, referencing all the heat that she's gotten for being so-called unsafe, and she's using that to her advantage now. So yeah, I thought it was great. I had no problem with it. I was entertained.
Now, Big G, what do you think?
I thought it was funny. I mean, when I watched it, I was like, what is she saying? And she said my hole. I was like, what? And then it dawned on me. I was like, okay.
Bung the hole.
Like Aaron said, she's getting attention. It's something positive about her and nothing negative about her that she always gets about, like Aaron said, an unsafe worker. I thought they made a t-shirt out of it or something. I don't know if they did. If they didn't, they should profit off of it, make as much money as they can with this shirt. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, it's going to die down and something else will be the new flavor of the week or flavor of the month, whatever it is. But I like what Josh says. I'm a big Shayna fan, and I feel they should split up, and Shayna needs to just go on her own. So does Nia.
And I see a lot of people saying it was very funny. I see somebody thinking we're overanalyzing it. No, we're talking that it was funny, and we were actually somewhat entertained by something Nia Jax did. Pay attention and listen. Thank you. All right, thanks for your input, Big G. Robbie, this should be interesting. You probably are like, don't care. Let's go on.
I don't care. I'm not a big fan of the poop humor. I just don't find it like fart jokes and stuff like it. To me, it's just never been funny. This is the lowest hanging fruit that you could possibly grab onto for the sloped brows of the public of wrestling. I don't care about Nia Jax. It's the first time I've ever heard anyone talk about her when it wasn't related to a botch or injuring someone. It was a stupid segment. I mean, this is what she's relegated to, and I think it's fitting for her place in the card because I think her career is in a hole more so than anything else. But yeah, I don't care about Nia Jax. I don't care. I wasn't entertained by this. I thought all the memes people were posting are dumb. I don't think they're funny. I don't want to see more Nia Jax, and I'm done with this topic.
and anybody that doesn't want to see Nia Jax, like, I want to see more of her. I want to see her hurt more people. I get my jollies off of that. So Nia, thank you. Pissing people off, making them that not interested. Go away, Heat. It's always a winner.
I don't even have.
But anyway, Rob,
I literally just mute my TV when she's on, and I look on my phone until she's gone. Like,
yeah, and that makes me want to like tweet more about her too. So
I have no reaction.
Big Vito loves her TikTok, by the way. That's where he says the money's at. So maybe he's got me thinking Nia Jax because he constantly wants to talk about her TikToks. But all right, this topic.
I like YouTube.
I don't even know. It's TikTok. It's like a clock. Isn't that what Karrion Kross says?
Yeah.
Robbie, I'm coming right back to you on this topic because it's AEW, and let's get it out of the way before we get to the big bones of the WWE main event topics like we always have each week. Sammy Guevara, he left the inner circle. Now, we knew with them putting MJF in there's going to be a rift at some point. We figure it'll be like a Kevin Owens Jericho thing down the road. This is interesting with Sammy leaving. That was the most interesting thing to me on Dynamite, because I kind of am growing to like Sammy ever since he got hit with a golf cart. I know you're not the biggest fan of the Matt Hardy stuff.
Yeah.
But I was intrigued by this. He even blocked MJF on Twitter. So they're really going all out because that's what wrestlers do is they play up to social media. What do you think with this angle and where would it lead?
Loved it. They're building up one of the brightest stars of the company. Sammy Guevara is far and away probably in the top 3 prospects that, I wasn't high on him in the first time I saw him with the panda hat and everything. I didn't really know what this kid was all about, but he's shown me he has a dedication to get better week over week. He's obviously, say what you will about Chris Jericho. He's definitely hanging out with some solid veterans in the locker room because he knows what he's doing. He went up the face ramp when he left. I don't know if people picked up on that. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
AEW does those little things, and I do appreciate that. But I think this leads, hopefully, to a program that could elevate him to start going after some singles titles. Because I think this kid, him, MJF, 2 of the top 3 prospects in the entire division or the entire company of AEW. And I'm interested in this storyline because I think anytime you see character growth or younger guys start to take that next step, I really feel that we're watching a future superstar take that first step into superstardom. And I'm excited to watch this coming week and see what happens.
Now, and you know what? Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to ask Robbie a question. So I'm thinking this could end up being a swerve where Guevara and MJF are in cahoots. Would you rather see that, or would you rather see Sammy just make a clean babyface break and be a face character moving forward?
It depends on how they do it. I mean, both could be great, because him and MJF together, I think, would be really good, and maybe they could have that split faction, or they could take over or do their own thing. It would be interesting seeing them in a tag team division, but at the same time, I think both of them would benefit from being singles standout stars in the company. I think it's time for a babyface turn for him because we've seen him at his heel work. We've seen him be that annoying guy. I kind of want to see him with a character that has conviction and kind of standing up for what he believes in. He has a line that you can't cross, and now they've crossed it, and it's time for him to just do his own thing. So I think both would be interesting, but I would much rather see him do a clean. And this is shocking that I'm saying this, especially with my track record of liking heels, but I would love to see him do a clean face run if it's done right. I think that has the most potential to be interesting.
Think about this philosophy. MJF style, right, is more grounded.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara is a high flyer, and to be a heel and a high flyer doesn't make sense because, people pop for that stuff. So why not push Sammy as a baby? Then he can do his flying and all that kind of wrestling stuff, and people can pop for it. It makes sense.
100%.
So, Big G, what do you think here?
Yeah, I liked it last night. I think we were all expecting Jericho to eventually turn babyface, but with everything leading up the past couple of weeks with Guevara and MJF, I'm kind of glad Guevara turned face, and I'm sure, I don't know if it'll be at Revolution this coming pay-per-view or the one after, if we'll see Guevara versus MJF on one-on-one, and obviously the Inner Circle on the outside, or Jericho's gonna try to talk to Guevara to convince him to come back to the group, or this could be, like Aaron and Robbie said, this could be all a plan with MJF and Guevara trying to take over the Inner Circle or whatever it may be. Like I said, I'm digging it. I want to see how Guevara does as a face. It was kind of interesting to me when his music hit. I was like, well, his own music hit. So that right there kind of tells you he's going his own way. And then last night, he said he's walking away from the company for a while. Well, the pay-per-view is in 3 weeks or something like that.
That's a while.
So, I was going to say that sounds like the perfect amount of a while to be gone.
So, he could come back on the go home show, attack MJF in the Inner Circle, one at a time or whatever it may be. And that'll lead up to a match at this pay-per-view or the next. And we'll see what happens. I've liked Sammy Guevara when he first came into AEW. He had something different than everybody else. And like Robbie said, he's like one of the 3 prospects. And you mentioned MJF. Do you know who is the 3rd prospect that you out of AEW? Because you said you had 3, right, Robbie?
I have no idea. I'd have to literally look at the roster.
Orange Cassidy?
It's definitely not Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
Honestly, it's probably Britt Baker in the women's division. I think
those are actually 3 pretty good ones. But yeah, let's see what happens in the next coming weeks with Guevara in the inner circle.
And I think we definitely got to hold the possibility of a swerve, and it's to all maybe kick Jericho out, and that's what kind of everybody thought would lead with MJF joining. That's where we would get to anyway. But if Sammy has a babyface run, like I said, it's good for his style of match because people pop for that type of stuff. And again, when you're a heel and you're doing that stuff and the fans pop for it, I don't like it. So try to get to where you need to be. Aaron?
Virtue, you made some great points there about Sammy. I definitely think he could have a solid run as a babyface, but I still wonder in the back of my mind if we're going to get a swerve here and Jericho is the one who gets kicked out and turns babyface. Now, I've seen comments in the chat room about how, Jericho is such a good heel. He doesn't need to be a face, but everybody's singing his song and he's a legend. Everybody's still deep down, even though Jericho has done some controversial things, people still love him and respect him as a legend. And he could easily go babyface and be that guy, that nostalgic legend. Although Jericho himself doesn't really like being a nostalgia act, so he may fight that and want to stay being a heel. It's interesting. They can go a lot of different ways with this, and I'm definitely intrigued. And apparently a lot of people are interested in where this is going because the AEW recap I did this week outdrew the Raw recap, which very rarely happens. I can't remember the last time I got more views for the AEW recap than Raw. Now, maybe Raw was just that unnoteworthy that people were not interested. But
dude, we're going to be talking about that for the next 20 minutes or so. So, yeah.
All right. Now, before we get to that, I do have a $5 super chat here from Yankee the Wolf says, did you think AEW had too many heels? And if so, do you think they could fix this issue by turning Lance Archer, Dark Order, Death Triangle faces? Well, I think they all kind of are at this point.
Yeah, he said you said do. He wrote did.
Oh,
he said, did you think they?
My
they
bad.
fixed the
Okay,
issue?
I misread it.
Same
Sorry.
difference, Big G. It all means.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think they definitely needed to turn some people because you had all these heel groups and Dark Order, obviously because of Brody Lee, that had to be done. And Lance Archer, I think to balance out things because Omega went heel, you had to balance it out.
Yeah.
And that's why Lance Archer went face, which is fine with me. I think it was a nice change for him. And Death Triangle, I mean, people, like you said, Virtue, you have Penta and Rey Fenix. They're great athletes. They do all the high-flying moves, and it's hard for them to be heels when they do all those flashy moves. So makes sense for them, and Pac for that matter. I mean, Pac can cut a good promo, so he could do the heel role better, but I definitely think for Penta and Phoenix, it was the right move for them to go face.
Yeah.
Well said. All right, we got to jump over to Raw because ratings still suck. What was the rating, Aaron? 1.7, 1.8 million people. Now, before we talk about who showed up on Raw, the big match that was announced for Elimination Chamber, and why I think they're doing this for Drew, we have to talk about Bad Bunny, okay? I understand the celebrity crossover. Celebrity maybe to the Hispanic community and all of his fans, but now the merchandise is there, and we got reports saying he's like getting merchandise numbers and making them money, and Roman's like the closest wrestler to him in merchandise, okay? That's his fans buying the merchandise. From that aspect, it makes sense. WWE brings in stars, they think will sell to people that maybe don't watch wrestling. If he's such a big star in the rap community, the Hispanic community, the merch numbers are there, okay? Got me, all right? Just like when Goldberg comes back, ratings go up a little bit. Got me. Where are the Raw ratings if Bad Bunny is super popular? Why aren't they at 2 million? They're still where they're, if not lower than the last couple of months. So what's everybody's take here? Because he's there with, what's his name? Help me out, Big G. Juice
Damian
Robinson.
Priest.
What was his old name? Juice Robinson?
Damian Priest.
What was his name, though, in the Indies or before he was in
Punishment Martinez,
Punishment?
I think.
That's right. I get some of this. He's there, right, for that. Yeah, I get it. But come on, dude. He is not appealing to wrestling fans unless you like Bad Bunny's music. Big G, take it away because he's not changing ratings. And now he might have a match at WrestleMania?
So I had never heard of Bad Bunny before the Royal Rumble, and I'm a big music guy. But, Latin music, not so much. We know WWE does this every so often, once every year or whatever. I think look back at WrestleMania 27, you had Snooki there with Trish Stratus, Floyd Money Mayweather at WrestleMania 24. So yeah, they'll try to bring in big names to attract people who don't watch wrestling. And I mean, the ratings seem to be in the 1.5, 1.7 million every Raw. I can't remember the last time when they drew at least 2 million. I don't know if it's the 3 hours. I mean, we can always blame that, or if it's the booking or what it. I mean, I feel honestly 3 hours is way too long for a wrestling show. Now for a pay-per-view,
you just now figuring that out.
Oh, I've been known that, but you know, it's 2 hours is the perfect time for a wrestling show. 3 hours, 3.5 hours is fine for a pay-per-view. No, Aaron?
Yeah.
But yeah, this Bad Bunny getting a match at WrestleMania. I'm sure it'll be a tag team match. Like I said, we've seen so many celebrities throughout the years in a WrestleMania match, either a tag team match or a multi-man match or whatever it may be. And, you know, WWE's trying to do whatever they can to pull the ratings out of their ass. So,
yeah. You know, and look, people that like his music, this generation, like me and Aaron, we like stuff before our time, right? So it's not like we only like music that we grew up with. We like what we think is good music.
Right.
And for people that like this, I'm not criticizing that, but like WWE, it's like, okay, is this really going to help Damian Priest get over? Robbie, Bad Bunny, what do you think?
Love it. Smart. Good business decision. I don't expect to see ratings to improve overnight, or possibly not at all, because, you know, let's face it, Raw's the worst wrestling show on TV. It's probably the most boring. It's the most cliche. It's the least inspired. So it's going to take a lot more. It's going to take some major wrestling stars, like, you know, when they had Roman on there, to actually pull those ratings up. There's a reason that SmackDown continually outperforms Raw, because Raw's the B show. Raw is for the mainstream. And, you know, a lot of people I see complaining about Bad Bunny. Well, he's not there for you. You know, he's to pull in a different demo that doesn't necessarily watch wrestling, whether it be music fans or more of the Latin community. But I mean, his merch speaks for itself. And Virtue, you've said that in the past about Roman when people crapped on him.
Well,
and people said he didn't get ratings.
You notice I didn't take a shot at the merch.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you know, if he's selling merch, that means maybe if he wasn't there, he wasn't doing it, Raw could have sank to 1.4, 1.3.
That's very true.
People were watching the impeachment trial, which to me is more wrestling than what Raw's doing right now at the circus. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a smart business decision. If it's on the business side, which to me this is obviously not a wrestling side, Vince approved it. And until I see otherwise, Vince McMahon is the best wrestling mind when it comes to making money in business that's ever lived and probably ever will live. So I think it's a success. Do I like his music personally? No. Do I really care that he's on my screen? No, but it's not directed at me. So I have to look at the merch sales, and I think it's a success. I think over time it will be good. And do I care if he has a match at WrestleMania? No, because let's be real, without, you know, a full crowd of fans in attendance, WrestleMania is just going to be another show that lasts 2 days instead of one, with a fancy name on it and maybe more pyro.
And that's well said. And there was a reason why I brought this topic up, because it's going to piggyback to the main event about Drew McIntyre. By the way, Dylan Falk, door number 1 is a closet that has a lot of wrestling T-shirts and football and sports jerseys in it. Door number 2 is a master bathroom with a nice, huge walk-in shower. So to answer your question.
Let me ask a question real quick. This may be a stupid question.
Yes.
Now with like people DVR Raw and like streaming services, does that hurt the ratings because they just base it off the cable? Or how does that work?
It's I don't know exactly how that all works. Like if somebody DVRs something and doesn't watch it live, I don't know how that affects all the ratings and stuff. But Aaron, you're probably like, let's move on to the main event. But like, any thoughts here? Like, he's selling merch. Like, I can't deny that when I saw that report. Hey, at least Roman was the first wrestler behind him. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw that.
Yeah.
All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, could Tom Cruise bring 1 million viewers to WWE? Probably not. Now,
If his church said to, the Scientology community said to do it, they would.
well, anyways, I'm not gonna go there. I'll just say this: Bad Bunny is not going to hurt WWE. At least he's a fan of the product, which is a step above most of the celebrities that WWE brings in. I'm fine with that. Will he help long term? That is to be determined. If he can help elevate somebody like a Damian Priest, and Damian Priest can start drawing money and more people start watching WWE as a result, that could be a positive. Yeah. Is Bad Bunny alone going to shoot up the ratings in the short term? No. And you look at past celebrities like Lawrence Taylor coming in and doing that match with Bam Bam Bigelow. That did nothing for WWE because the product was not that compelling. It's only going to work if the celebrity can bring in people and then those people stick around. Mike Tyson was able to move the numbers, but WWE had Steve Austin, who was able to get those people invested and sticking with the product. And they just don't have that person right now. It's tough to say. Now, if Damian Priest can catch on with the demo that WWE is looking for, then that could potentially be a long-term moneymaker for WWE. But I think the jury is still out on that one.
Is Bad Bunny Hispanic?
Yeah.
Okay. So Robbie, Aaron, Big G, he is there because their wrestlers that are Hispanic can't draw their Hispanic demo up higher. So they're going to a celebrity. I mean,
you Robbie, know why they can't, though. I mean,
well, hold on. Bad Bunny or Dominic Mysterio? Like, you know what I mean?
I'd rather see Bad Bunny. That's when they book their Hispanic wrestlers into gimmicks like Lucha House Party that aren't taken seriously. What do you expect? The only thing that they do is they'll push a Hispanic wrestler for 2 weeks. They don't see an immediate reaction, and then they put Rey Mysterio and his family on TV because that's what Vince thinks is going to sell. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's the booking and the way that those guys are presented because, you know, for a while, Del Rio was presented as a big deal and he caught on. Now he turned out to be a piece of crap. And when they took his little announcer away and they chipped away at his character, it kind of faded. But, they're notorious for giving some borderline racist or terrible gimmicks and factions and different things like that. And I think after a while, maybe a community gets tired of seeing it and they don't want to tune in. And what I'll say, too, is the only people watching Raw now are the hardcore fans. We're going to watch it, whether it's something we don't like. So what they're doing now is they're throwing stuff at a wall to see what sticks, and maybe it'll bring in viewers and it doesn't. But like Aaron said, it's not going to hurt anything because the only people watching Raw are the people that are going to watch Raw no matter what.
And I like Damian Priest. I think, you know how no one star is bigger than WWE? I can't ever pick anybody. Karrion Kross, I can't say anybody could ever be that again. To me, when I see Damian Priest, and I know I called him Juice Robinson earlier, and he's a completely different guy, trained by Truth Martini, but nonetheless, respect to both of those guys. Damian Priest, they might be onto something there. So we're going to have to see how they book them because that's the most important thing, right? But I still think stars shine bright, even with crappy booking, and then they have to force to book them right.
Yeah.
Like Roman Reigns.
I don't know, man. I don't think you're ever going to get Lucha House Party and book them in any way possible with their current gimmick.
Because they weren't the stars. But like Roman kind of got crappy booking, and now his star is shining brighter than it has been in terms of respect from fans.
I don't know if I call the Shield crappy booking, though.
Roman after the Shield, right? That's when people turn down Roman. But we'll see. Right. We'll see with Damian Priest. Aaron, what were you going to –
Okay. So we do have a $5 super chat from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you for that. Let me try to read it correctly. I might have to squint a little bit. It says, seriously, what happened to Andrade? You would think being married to Charlotte would boost his career. Does he need a good English promo to get over? Well, your second question there would be yes, unless he had a manager. He did have a manager, Zelina Vega, and, well, she's not there anymore. I don't know why WWE doesn't pair Andrade with Charlotte. I guess because Andrade's a heel and Charlotte's a face right now. They're not going to do that. But, I mean, they might as well pair them up since they're a real-life couple and see where that goes. But, yeah, I think it's just a matter of WWE has nothing for him creatively, and he's just on the sidelines until they figure out something for him. And, it might just be a matter of luck. He gets an opportunity to get a spot, and that spot catches on, and he's back in the mix. Same thing with Aleister Black. It might just come down to luck and when he's able to fit himself back into the storylines and be at the right place at the right time, which sucks for both of them. But, you know, when you have so many people under contract, people are bound to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. So the piggyback into the main event with Bad Bunny, he's there, right? Because they want to draw Hispanic demo. He's selling merch. And look, why did they bring Shane McMahon back just to announce a match? Very strange. It's like Adam Pearce had a moment. Every time Adam Pearce has a moment to like be that top-notch authority figure, get in the ring because his fans want to see him wrestle, it gets shot down by something like this. So Shane was back just to announce the Elimination Chamber match where Drew McIntyre has to defend against The Miz. Help me out here, people. Randy Orton, Sheamus, AJ Styles, and who's the fifth? Who did I forget?
Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. So clearly this is so McIntyre can win another match and be manufactured as that top guy that went through all of these opponents, because those guys are all going to be put on the Drew McIntyre list. So from that aspect, it's good. We've hinted at this before. Maybe Drew McIntyre just ain't that big of a draw, because on his show, you don't see Bad Bunny on the show with Roman Reigns, which is strange because that's on Fox, which supposedly gets to more households. No, he's on Raw with the struggling number, with the champion of Drew. So Shane, what's everybody's thoughts on Shane with the nonsensical appearance? Like, it's like a McMahon always has to be on TV every 3 months somehow, some way. And then, like, what's this match mean for Drew? Are they just trying to give Drew some more ammo to be that top baby face? Here's my problem with him. When I hear him, like, cut those promos with you know how the baby faces, Robbie, they have to smile and look in the camera and be that, like, hero to the fans. Yeah. Drew does not do that. It's so fake when Drew does it. Nothing against him. It was fake like when Roman did it.
Right.
I'm not saying Drew has to be a heel, but, like, I wish he could just be a badass.
I agree.
Take it away on this. Like, I'm putting Drew McIntyre back in the spotlight here because Bad Bunny's on the show where he's the champion. And is it Drew's fault? Is Drew not a draw? Like,
look, they took all of the writers that made people hate Roman Reigns and assigned him to Drew McIntyre. That's what I feel that happened here. As for Shane McMahon's on TV because WrestleMania is in a few months, and Shane has to have a match where he can jump off of something that's tall. That's what this is going to lead to. Something's going to happen in Elimination Chamber. Someone's going to come out and cut a promo on Shane's wife and kids or something, and he's going to come out because he will not stand for that. And then they're going to challenge him to some match. He's either got to get thrown off or jump off of something tall, and then we'll see him in 4 months. I don't know. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, man. And I've been saying this for a long time. I'm sick of the stereotypical WWE babyface. I want to see Drew McIntyre. Dude, he's 7 feet tall. He's chiseled. He comes out with a giant Claymore sword. Why can't he just be a badass who happens to do the right thing? Why does he have to, every time someone gets a championship belt and they're a good guy, they all of a sudden have the worst promos in the company. They are easily distracted. They're stupid. They make bad decisions. And it's just like, it's tired. It's a tired trope. And again, that's one of the reasons why Raw has terrible ratings. It has nothing to do with Drew McIntyre as a professional or his ability, because I think he's one of the top guys in the company. He's reliable. He's great at what he does. He's great in the ring. He's great on the promo. It's just they're giving him these terrible lines, and it doesn't help anyone. It's bad for everyone in the long run. But yeah, I expect to see Shane get a match set up for WrestleMania.
I don't want to see Link come out with the Master Sword and then smile as he's getting ready to face Gannon. Right. I know
Ganondorf.
Yeah,
I got your number, pal.
And you're right. Like, you're right about that. John Cena was guilty of that for the longest time, but he had that like promo edge that he was just so good. He could know when people were crapping on the smiling and stuff, and he could turn it into something decent. Where Roman struggled with that, and now Drew, I see right through that, and it's like, come on. It's that Vince McMahon force-fed babyface scripted line crap. Well said, Robbie. How about you, Big G?
Well, going to Shane McMahon, you know, Robbie may be right. He might have a match at WrestleMania coming up. He may not. You know, like you said, every once in a while, McMahon has to show up just to try to get some kind of rating. You know, next 3 months from now, we could see Stephanie McMahon on TV again. I don't think we'll see Vince on TV anytime soon again. Hopefully not. But then again, we might. As far as Drew, If you haven't watched his 24 documentary on the network, go and watch that and listen to the. I think there's part of the promo on there after he was released from WWE the first time, or if not, go on YouTube and check that out. When he jumped back to ICW and at Britain or wherever it is. But that's the kind of promos that Drew McIntyre should be doing. Yeah, it should be more straight from the heart, more realistic than what Vince gives him. But I mean, Drew is in a bad spot right now. I think we're in the pandemic right now, and there's no fans. But if there were fans, they would be cheering for everything he would say. I don't think Drew really smiles that much. It's
a half crooked smile. Like
it's more
the problem. The smiling got out of control because Austin and The Rock smiled cockily, like whatever the word is, to their character's benefit, and that's entrenched in Vince McMahon's brain now. Smiling gets you over. Like,
yeah, I mean, and
he has a lot of people do it. All the babies have to smile.
Yeah. And, I like Drew as a champion. I know a lot of people don't, but from his NXT, from the time that he came back from NXT, he's grown a lot. When he
didn't even need to go to NXT, dude.
Well, I think the reason why he went to NXT was just to reassert himself into the new WWE, because when he had left, I think it might have been a different product from what it is now. And when he came up to the main roster as a heel, he did very well. I mean, he and Shane were teaming up together and whatnot. So,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the next couple months. I'm sure Edge should be making his choosing of his WrestleMania opponent.
This could drag on for quite some time. They might not do it till after the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I want to say probably the Raw after Elimination Chamber or SmackDown or whatever.
And I like Drew. Like, I don't want to make this sound like I think he is a failure for Raw and stuff. I think he's put in that difficult position. Like Roman was the John Cena 2.0. Now, as people were saying in the chat, Drew is what Roman was, is that Vince McMahon puppet babyface. And it sucks because he's got the handcuffs on him now.
Yeah.
It seems like. He comes out with the sword. He's got the presentation.
He's got the sword. He's got the, he comes out in the Scottish kilt, trying to relate to his heritage. Thank God he doesn't come out with face paint like Braveheart and gives a, if he gave a speech like Mel Gibson.
If Vince McMahon saw that movie, he would absolutely come out like that.
So, I mean, I like Drew. Drew has done good so far in this pandemic. But if there were fans and somebody to feed off of, I think it would be a better run for him. So,
well, thank you, Big G. Aaron, they're giving him quite a hit.
Do you guys ever watch segments like on Raw where they're piping in the cheers or the boos and being like, "That is not how this crowd would be reacting at all"?
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Just curious.
Yeah. Well,
Kid
Cracker 16 in the chat brings up a good point here. I mean, if we had fans, that might have actually worked against McIntyre, because they might have started booing him against Randy Orton, and they might have gotten sick of him. You know how the fans tend to get tired of the babyface champion, and they may have started turning against McIntyre, which we really don't know how the fans would be reacting to him right now. But, Drew has done a really good job under the circumstances, in my opinion. I think he's done well. He's had some really strong matches. I think it's the pandemic that maybe hurt the impact of his initial win, but he carried the company during this dark period, and I think it's the booking that has hurt him more than anything else. And he just needs a strong heel to go against. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Goldberg versus Shane or Drew McIntyre versus Shane? Oh, please, not Drew. I hope that's not what this is leading to.
And I beg to differ with he carried the company during the pandemic. I think Randy Orton did, and then Roman helped Randy Orton when Roman came back, and that's just what I think.
Well, I agree that Randy Orton definitely was a big part. I'm saying, like, in terms of being the champion, being the guy to represent the company as the champion, I think he's done well under the circumstances. But I would say, like, the MVP for the first part of the pandemic was Randy, and then when Roman Reigns came back, he's become the MVP. And let's not forget Bayley and Sasha, too, for their whole storyline. They did a great job with that. And we do have a super chat here. This is kind of off topic from Tony. He sent in a $2 super chat, says, Cameron Grimes, baby, predicted GameStop on Twitter. What does that even mean? Virtue, what does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, he predicted what was going to happen with it. I don't know. I don't pay. I mean, I knew about the whole GameStop Robinhood thing with the stock price stuff, which is now crashed, but I don't know how Cameron Grimes did anything with it. I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah,
there's some kind of storyline with Cameron Grimes, I guess, putting stock into GameStop and making all this money now and saying everybody can kiss his grits and all that stuff. It is what it is.
Storyline.
Yeah, it's all a storyline on NXT.
Yeah, but they're building Drew up in terms of they gave him a huge hit list. I mean, go back to everything he's done and all the people he's beat on the wall, on his wall. And when it's all said and done, he's going to have mowed through a lot of people. Like, I can't see them dropping the title off of him at the Elimination Chamber. So that means everyone in that Elimination Chamber will be another. And I know some of those guys he already beat, but that's what they're doing. They're giving him the hit list of, hey, this is what Drew has done. He's defeated all these guys. And that's where we're at. So 7:45, perfect timing, because we're going to be wrapping these reviews up now, hopefully by 7:45, 7:50 every week, because there is no reason for the chat to make this go on and on and on with super chat. So that was a good discussion, and we know how this goes at this point. When I start doing plugs, it might linger on for another 5 minutes, but Robbie's got to get out of here by 7:50 anyway. So Big G, let's start doing our plugs and see if we can get done in a timely manner here.
NoDQ.com/BigBallerG takes it to my Twitter page, and on that you will find the link for my YouTube page, where you will find the Gridiron Grapple every single Tuesday, and Virtue will make something work out so you can be on there one day.
Yep. Yeah, you can't do everybody else and then forget me. But I don't know. I don't know if NoDQ will retweet it if I'm on there, though.
You know what? You know what it is? I'm saving the best for last.
Oh, all right, Robbie. So you're going to be on last then, huh?
That's right. Guys, follow me at the Robbie Vice. Now, just like last month where ladies Aaron won a t-shirt, I'm going to be doing a prediction challenge for Elimination Chamber. If Drew McIntyre loses his title, I'll be giving away a NoDQ.com t-shirt. But the way that you win that is you have to follow me, you have to follow NoDQ.com, and you have to retweet my tweet that I sent out the Sunday of that pay-per-view. Now, for WrestleMania, I have a little bit of a challenge to the audience. I'm at about 200 followers right now, criminally underfollowed, right? For WrestleMania,
it's your own fault.
It is my own fault. For WrestleMania, I'm going to be doing a $100 giveaway. That could be NoDQ.com merch. That could be a $100 PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Nintendo eShop card. If I can get up to 750 followers by WrestleMania, I will do the $100 card giveaway or whatever giveaway on each night of WrestleMania. So $200 of my money will be on the line for whatever I predict, and I will let my followers decide one of the bets. So you will be able to stack the deck against me, but I need to get to that 750 mark. So tell your friends, follow the Robbie Vice, enter to win. Winners are real, and we'll figure out the prizes, but it's going to be a big one, especially for WrestleMania. So make sure you guys jump on that.
All right. Thank you, Robbie. Over to you, Aaron. We got a super chat. Let's go.
All right, we do. Shanti sent in $5. No comment or anything or question. I guess he has a comment, just not a question. He says, I'm watching this from the beginning, so I'll be hearing this in the future. Anyways, you guys are my whole reason to stay caught up. Shanti. Well, thank you, Shanti. We appreciate it. We appreciate you with your comments and bringing some peace and love to us. We very much appreciate
3 minutes
you.
left. There's another one.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says your favorite Mr. Perfect match or moment. Okay,
all of them.
All of them is a good answer. SummerSlam 91 versus Bret Hart is my all-time personal favorite, and I liked the Intercontinental title tournament when he won the championship. I believe it was against Tito Santana. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I liked his match with Texas Tornado. I liked his rematch with Bret at King of the Ring 93. So those are my top Mr. Perfect matches. Virtue, any thoughts on Mr.
The
P?
SummerSlam match versus Bret Hart at 91, but honorable mention where he dropped the United States Championship to DDP and WCW. But that wasn't Mr. Perfect. That was Kurt Hennig. But same, you know what I mean.
Good choice there. And you were also at the 92 Survivor Series when he made his comeback.
Yes, that tag match. That was another memorable moment. So throw that up there for an honorable mention.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and follow NoDQ.com this weekend for NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day pay-per-view coverage. I hope you'll be there. I'll be on afterwards with my post-show live stream, and we'll be back next week with another review.
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_virtue. The rest is all there. So let's wrap it up. Robbie's got to get out of here. NoDQ Galaxy, thank you for watching. And guess what? We're going to do this again next time. So we will see you then. Later.